Hello everyone. Today we'll see welding processes and its applications and where these are specifically used. So if you see overall manufacturing processes, so welding comes under assembly operations where there is a permanent joining. These are the permanent joining processes. So under the permanent joining processes, welding, brazing and soldering and adhesive bonding is there. And today we'll see the overview of welding, brazing and soldering. So before going in detail, let us see what is mean by exact welding, brazing and soldering and what is the technical differences in that. So in case of welding, what happens when we provide the heat to two metal parts to be joined. So by providing heat, it is heated up to melting zone, and then as they melted, so they will get fused. But here both the parent metals need to be heated up to the melting point. Now in case of brazing and soldering, there is no need to be heated that parent metal up to the melting point temperature. So though it is heated, parent metals are heated, but it is up to some extent, and then the filler material is added, and that filler material is melted, and then it will cover that joint. In case of brazing, brass fillers are used, which is somewhat stronger than soldering, and in case of soldering, these are low temperature tin lead filler. So here brazing and soldering are not expected to have withstand higher strength or higher temperature, whereas in case of welding can be used in case of very high heat environment. So let us see one by one. So what is mean by exactly welding? So it is the application of heat so that two metal parts will get fused. Now again there may be application of heat and pressure both at a same time. So in some cases only application of heat will be sufficient. Those are called fusion type of welding, whereas in some cases heat as well as pressure both are applied. So those are called solid state welding. Again, filler material may or may not be used. So this is the basic principle of welding, where the assembly is made by heating these components, and as they will get heated, both are fused together. And in case of fusion welding, this is the principle, whereas in case of solid state welding, not only heat is sufficient, but also the pressure is applied to get weld in proper. So here first type of welding, resistance type of welding, will come under solid state welding, whereas in case of fusion welding, arc welding, gas welding will come. We'll see in detail now. These are the basic categories. What are the general functions of welding? So welding will provide the permanent joint, and this is again more economical, and you can this is handy one. You can move from one position to another position, and there is no restriction of the factory environment. What are the limitations of the welding that we'll see? Generally most of the welding need to do manually, and those are expensive in terms of labor cost. Again, very high energy is required, and these are dangerous. So, and that's why there is a need to use the safety equipment during the welding processes. Otherwise, it can be harm severe if you don't take the care. So again, during dismantling part, this is somewhat difficult, and detecting the defect is difficult in case of welding. So these are the limitations. Now we'll concentrate the basic type of arc welding. So arc welding is again, let us see. Here AC or DC power source is there, and one electrode is connected to one end, positive or negative connected to electrode, and one of the end is connected, clamped to the workpiece. Now here current will be passed through that, and once current is passed, again those are separated, both the electrode and workpiece are separated by 2 to 4 millimeter apart. Then that electricity will also move through this gap, through the air, and air will act as a conductor, but there is a high amount of resistance, and this resistance will create the heat, and that heat is near around 4 to 5000 degrees Celsius, and that will able to melt the material and fusion happens. Now here, this is the direction of it, this is the arc, and these are the electrodes. Now let us see the polarities. So there are two types of polarities here. Direct current straight polarity, where electrode is negative and you can have a deeper penetration. And in case of direct current reverse polarity, electrode is positive and enhanced position rate for consumable electrode. And whereas in case of AC alternating current, there is a change of a polarity. Now here, why there is a when there is a requirement of straight polarity and reverse polarity, that we'll see. Direct current electrode negative. In this case, workpiece is positive and this electrode is negative. So in case of whichever may be electrode or workpiece, whichever is positive, that will have near about 70% of heat, and negative one will have 30% of heat. So depending on the requirement, the positive and negative electrodes are connected. So in case of thinner material, direct current electrode negative is used. Whereas in case of alternating current, there is a change, 50% of heat to workpiece and 50. So here 50-50 environment is there. Now these are the two basic type of electrodes or arc welding types: consumable electrode and non-consumable. So why it is called electrode? So that electrodes consumed during the welding process, and it will also act as a filler material. There may be a filler rod or a spool of wire. Whereas in case of non-consumable electrode will not get consumed. It will just provide arc and heat, and that's why there may or may not need of filler material. It is added externally. Now let us concentrate on shielded metal arc welding. This is consumable metal arc welding. So we'll see the basics of shielded metal arc welding. So in this case, it is coated one. That electrode is coated, and that coating will provide the that coating will get burned, so it provides the shield, and that shield provide the avoidance of oxidation of the melted part with the oxygen. So it provides the shielding by providing the burn gases. Again, that coating will provide the slag. Due to the slag, there is a lesser cooling rate will be slower because there is no direct contact with air, and here the material which is undergone the welding, that will be stronger because the cooling process is slower, and a grain growth will be finer one. So finer is the grain size, the stronger is the material. Again, sometimes there is need to apply some alloy, so that can be added through the electrode, and that's why this is called shielded metal arc welding. So this can be used for repairing work or wherever in whatever environment it can be used, and in generalized this is used. It can cover high depth